Shambho Mahadev. Om. So in the third chapter, 3:12 to Chhandogya, same thing he mentions as we described. It was a description of that. Here the principles on those have been mentioned on the Gayatri. Ya vai sa gayatriyam vavasayayam prithivyam hadim sarvam sarvam bhutam pratishthatametaveva nadishiyate. Ya vai sa gayatriyam vavasayayam prithivyam hidam sarvam bhutam pratishthitameva natishiyate. The Gayatri, which is such that is surely this which is the earth, Prithivya. We have explained about this earlier in that explanation. Why Prithivi? Because of the Karma Bhumi, where are all the Bhuhridam, Sarvam, Bhutam Pratishthatayate, all the Bhutas are established in the earth only. Sarva Bhutam Pratishthatayate, all the Bhutas are established in here. Because of the aggregate of all beings is established on this. If the aggregate does not transcend this very earth, Adi Shiyate. So the Gayatri is connected with the beings through singing and protecting. Similarly, the earth is connected with all beings because of their habitation there. Therefore, Gayatri is the earth. Bhumi, Prithvi, all the Bhutas. It is not only Prithvi, just not the Prithvi alone. All the Bhutas connected with all the Bhutas is called the Gayatri. Ultimately, they say that everything is Gayatri, the Gayatri, because it consists of all the mantras, all the bhutas, all the gunas. Purushas also, sometimes that is also mentioned. It's all how it is perceived. So, want to make one conscious about the mantra, that this is not a mantra which is just for the sake of saying that, it is for the purpose of the Trayate. Why you are singing it? Gayate iti Trayate. To take Savituruvarenyam, in order to have that knowledge, Jnanam. Jnanam of what? Jnanam of the Parabrahman. To be one with that. Ya vai sa prithiviyam vavasa yadidamasmin purushe shariramasmin ihe pranaha pratishtita etadeva natishiyante. He says, Ya vai sa prithiviyam vava sa yadidasmin purushe. The earth which is such that is surely, in which is a body, the human body that a man has got. Because on this are established all the vital forces. So if the earth, if the Bhutas are Gayatri, the Purusha is also Gayatri, because all the vital forces, all the Bhutas are established in this also. They do not transcend this very one body. They don't transcend it. These Bhutas, that which is there in them, they do not transcend them. They are established in them. They don't transcend anything. They change. The Bhutas remains as Bhutas. Even though we see the body is dead and body is perished. But Bhutas have never born or perished. It has taken different shapes and forms, like potter makes the pots, which breaks, and again it becomes the mud. Again he makes the pot, again he makes this, again he makes a murti, he breaks. Again he makes something else and he breaks. He makes a house with that and breaks. Everything breaks. Bhutas are there. The Bhutas never die. So transcending doesn't take place with the Bhutas. This is established, pratishtita. That's why the Bhutas never transcend. Mind transcends physics. Atma transcends physics. Our mind transcends physics. Bhutas never transcend because they are established. They are meant for the holding, dwelling the prana in them. So they do not transcend. If they transcend, then how it is possible? So we may be seeing them transcend. One small child to the old man. There are changes in the physical body we are seeing. But it is only for that physical body that is changes. That's only a perception that we are undergoing. But it's the Bhutas never changes. It's only that which is made out of that which changes. That goes into perishing. One becomes old. We say it is new and it is old. Does that material from which it has been made has got anything new or old? No. From that old only again the new comes. Annam is also like that, circulation, recirculation. Annam becomes the human being, Annam becomes the seed, Annam becomes the tree, Annam becomes the fruit, Annam becomes the Annam again it goes and perishes, it becomes an animal and again perishes, becomes Annam. It becomes a human being, again it becomes Annam. Everything recirculates with that. So where is the transcending people? Bhutas are never transcending. They are meant for not to transcend because they are the same, because then only they can hold the prana in that, establishing that. That's why the Panchabhutas. So the function of the Panchabhutas are only to be earthly, to be on establishing on the earth in order to execute our karmas, framework which is to be given. But it is necessary. So he says, because on this, these vital forces meant by the word Bhuta are established, so like the earth, the body is Gayatri, because the vital forces do not transcend this very body. There is a body, whatever vital forces are incorporated in this, any amount of vital forces are incorporated in this, that the Bhutas, the Panchabhutas, doesn't transcend. Whether it is Apana, Vyana, Samana, Udana is functioning, they are over excessively functioning, not functioning. Whatever happens or not happen, the Bhutas never transcend, they don't change. So the body is that which is not perishable, that which is not changeable, that which doesn't transcend, that which doesn't change, that which never is created nor destroyed, is called Gayatri. So that is Gayatri, he said. I told you about the Devata of Gayatri with the 5 heads. Pancha, 5 heads. That Devata is worshipped as Gayatri. I am Trayate iti Gayatri. Where is the Trayate? Raksha. Traya means Trahimam. Means Raksha. Now from this escape. From where? From the Panchabhutas, from the Karma Bhumi to the Antaratma, the reality of it, where the reality is a Trayate. That's why it is Gaya Trihi. Trayate. Yadvai tat purushe shariramitam vavaha tatyadati masmin natah purushe tademasmin nime pranaha pratishtadaye devadadijiyante. That indeed, that is a man's body, that is verily this, which is that. This is the heart within the man, because these vital forces are established on this, they do not transcend this. Actually, what's happening here is that the Gayatri, Maharshi wants to explain that the Gayatri is that space which is outside, then the Gayatri is the Panchabhutas, then the Gayatri is the Sharira, Panchabhutas, earth, Then the Sharira, Gayatri is the Sharira. Now he says the Gayatri is what? Yadei Purushe Shariramidam Vava Tadada Adya Tasminnajana Purusho Hridayam Asminni Me Prana. That which is consisting of prana, where the prana is being consisted is Hridaya. In the Hridaya, there are Vedic, Upanishadic Hridaya, Sharirik Hridaya. In the Hridaya that is established. So what happened? The pranas are established in the Hridaya. That which is holding, which is the one which is holding the Hridaya, the Panchabhutas are holding the Hridaya. So the Hridaya is held up by that, the heart is held up by that. So that heart is called Gayatri. What is he trying to do? Going slowly towards the Sukshmata. From the Stulata to Sukshmata. He is gradually traveling. Ultimately he will come to that everything is Gayatri. So that's what he is gradually taking us. So, but gradual study has to be there. It is not if I say, okay, if that is the complete universe is Gayatri, and that which is Brahman is Gayatri. Doesn't make any sense. Gradually when we say Gayatri. So one should understand what is Gayatri. Om Bhur Bhuvaha Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam. So gradually one has to transcend towards that. That which transcends to the Sukshmata. That which is not transcending will be left out. That which is, nothing is transcending in fact. Except our perception, our mind, which is only one which is transcending. Nothing else transcends. Atma is not transcending, it is not being destroyed. Sukshmata of the Sharira doesn't being destroyed. Sukshmata of the Mana is not being destroyed. Sukshmata of the Antakarana is not being destroyed. Nothing is being destroyed. Everything goes into the Sukshmata level, that's all. Everything goes into, transforms into true Sukshmata level. Nothing is transcending. That which is not traveling and traveling, not traveling. Like that. So the Hridayam, where the Pranaha Pratishtitaha, where it is holding the Prana, is Gayatri. Is Etadeva Nadishiyante. So those that indeed, that is man's body, that verily that which is that is the heart within the man. Because of these vital forces are established on this. They do not transcend this heart. Everything is a holder. That's what he is trying to tell you. Earth is holding the Sharira. The Prakriti is holding the earth. Earth is holding the Sharira. Sharira is holding the heart. Heart is holding the Prana. Now we go further. Prana is holding something else. Now you see, they are all meant only to hold something or other. They are not meant for function. Their functions are only to hold them. So this is how he goes. You see, Purusha, from the Purusha, the Prakriti has been projected. From the Prakriti, Panchabhutas have been projected. From the Panchabhutas, Earth has been projected. From the Earth, again through the Panchabhutas to establish Sharira has been projected. And Sharira has, in Sharira, heart has been projected. In heart, Prana has been projected. Everything is projected. Nothing from where it comes, who owns it, who establishes it, who makes it. They are all. That's why it is the creation. When you look at the creation, that's why Chhandogya, you look at the creation like this. It is not created. So there is no creator. They say. At one point of time, there is no creator. What is the creation? Creator or the creation is the creator is only one, that is from where the Purusha is there. That is only creator. If you call it as a creator. How the creation takes place? It's an evolution, they say. The scientists have told also it's an evolution. Who has created the world? It's an evolution. It's an evolution through number of years, through friction, through sound, through Big Bang. And so many words have been told, but nobody knew and nobody told how this is happening. But Chhandogya Upanishad or Adi Shankaracharya in his Upanishad, Gayatri Upanishad we have taken, in that We have established, here we have established, Chhandogya Upanishad is established, and somewhere else. Many other places where the evolution being taking place. How is that evolution taking place? How is that by itself is happening? How is that Jivatma by itself is coming? You see, it is not created again, even though we say that it's a creation and it is created. One side is that creation and created. Since there are upadhis, there are reasons in between, we think it is created. Like just now we said, from the Prakriti, the Panchabhutas have been created, you can say. Who created Panchabhutas? We can say Prakriti or Purusha. Is it created? No. In the Prakriti, it automatically happened. From the Agni came first. From the Agni, the Apa came. From the Apa, Vayu came. From Vayu, from the Prithvi came. Like that it is. So it is all because of the evolution. In the Agni, when the temperature has gone increased, when the height of temperature it takes place, the Apa came, water comes. Even in the body it is like that. Even in a smaller scale. See, the Prakriti, Swabhava, that is the beauty of the explanation of the Upanishads. The Swabhava of the Swabhava nature of any bhutas or any explanation that is given, it never changes. You take it in the smaller Anu or the Paramanu status, or in the Stulata of the bigger universal status. The Swabhava of the material is same. Swabhava of the thing is same. Why? The Agni. You take a small Agni in any form of the Agni. Even in the human being, the Agni, that which is produced. When the Agni is increased, the Apa is created. When you have too much of heat, there is water created by you. Either in the form of sweat, either in the form of something else or something else, the Apa is created. When the Agni is created. When the Agni is too high. In the atmosphere also, when the Agni is high, Apa is created. From where the ocean has come. Why the ocean doesn't go dry? This a question. Why it is not going dry? The rivers go dry. The tanks go dry. But the ocean doesn't go dry. Has the ocean ever reduced its level of water content? We could not measure it. The more the heat increased, the more the water created. So, this is that what it is. So, what is it then? From where it comes? So, from these things, the evolution takes. This is called an evolution. Nobody knows how it is. How it is happening, actually the creating. Who created the water? If we can say, Agni has created the water. We have to say that. So, he becomes the creator of the water. Water is the creator of the Jivas. Jivas are the ones which have got the prana. So the creator is that, if we can say that. But the creator is, we said creator is only one. From where the Purusha is there, from where this has been projected, everything is a projection. So creation is that which has come, the evolution that has taken place. So there is no ownership on anything, is what ultimately. There is nothing which belongs to anything. Everything is a holder of the other. Everything is meant for the holding to something else. Panchabhutas for the Hridaya, Hridaya for the Prana, Prana for something else, like that it goes on. They are all interdependent. Without one, something cannot function. So it's all interdependent. That's a link is there. That's why it's a chain reaction. So nothing can be individually taken out and say that I have created this. It's not possible. It has to come in that chain only. That's why it is known as the evolution. And evolution is only that nothing transcends or nothing changes. It changes in the sense there are changes. There's shapes and forms changes. That's all. The shape and form changes, but there is nothing new is being created. We call it as new. And the old is dead, new is born, we say. But nothing is born, nothing is dead. Ultimately, nothing is born, nothing is dead. There is no rain. It is no. When you look into it, that rain adds water, we say, and the Agni or the sunlight or the brightness of the sun or the heat that is created by the sun, it dries up the water, they say. Yes. We call it as it is drying up, and we call it as rain. Now, both are nothing but an evolution, changes from the status, that's all. It is being evaporated from here, again brought back. Now, whether it is increasing? If the rain has to increase the water level in the universe or the world, all the rain that has rained from the day one to now, will there be world? There will be only water. If all the water has to dry because the summer is there or the sunlight is there, there should not be even a drop of water today. So what is it? How is this balance taking place? Because of the evolution. This is why nothing is being destroyed, nothing is being created. It's the truth. That is what he is telling that. That is what is Gayatri. Trayate. The one who knows the fact of this, he will get escaped into Purusha, he will go into the Purusha. The one who is not understanding this, he will keep on circulating in this evolution from Agni to the Bhumi and Bhumi to the Agni, again Agni to the Bhumi to the Agni. In this evolution, he keeps on rotating. He will become the Agni, he will become the Apa, he will become the Jiva, he will become the Vayu, he will become the Earth, and again he goes back to the one who understands the reality of the establishment of the truth in one, this word, Gayam Trayate. Trahimam, the one who understands, he realizes the Brahman. Once he realizes the Brahman, once he witnesses the Brahman, when he understands the Brahman, he escapes from this evolution and he becomes the Purusha, one with the Purusha. Where he doesn't witness anything, he doesn't experience anything. In these cases, what happened? Why this is happening? It is because of one experiences it. One enjoys it and one experiences it. There is a reason why the heat is increased, there is a reason why water has come, and there is a reason why this has come and that has come. Everything is there. These are all reasons. These reasons are owned by that. So, Swabhava of the any Bhuta never changes. Swabhava of anything in this universe never changes. It is a Swabhava, that which doesn't have a Swabhava is only that changes. The meaning of Swabhava itself is that the one which is not changeable. That what changes, we cannot call it as a Swabhava. We can call it as a Bhava. We can call it as Bhava, but we cannot call it as Swabhava. Swabhava of Agni, Swabhava of Vayu, Swabhava of Apa, Swabhava of Prithvi. It's never changeable. Swabhava of Atma, never changeable. What is changeable? That which is not permanent. The mind, the indriyas, the perception, that's all. Understanding of it. Everything is same, but the understanding of it changes. That changes from today, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, after 10 years, before 1,000 years, after 1,000 years. This perception changes. Nothing else changes. So the evolution takes place. We think that the number of years are passing through. Time is passing through. What is the time? The time is that only for those who are having different perceptions, that which is changeable. When there is a change, then only we understand about the time. That, 1 hour before, 1 hour later, 1 year before, 1 year later, 1,000 years before, 1,000 years later, previous Janma, next Janma, previous Prakriti, this Prakriti. That Agni, Vayu. Time. The one who understands it and goes above that, beyond that, that is called the timeless, limitless, and things like that. This is what ultimately the truth is. So what is the benefit of, somebody may be thinking why I want to understand the Upanishad. Upanishad definitely is meant for those who are looking for the jnanam to identify the Parabrahman and wants to come out of this evolutionary process and want to realize the Parabrahman and have to become the Parabrahman, have to come into the status of the Karma Mukti. Upanishads are meant for them. They are not meant for the others who have got the wrong perception. So, it has got these details have to be understood for them. Once he understands, then only he becomes a real Brahmachari. This helps us in renunciation. For a person who has renounced, An ignorant person, you ask him to renounce, he will say, what should I renounce? What should I renounce? And a jnani, you ask him, he will also ask you, what should I renounce? You see? Both of them will ask the same question, but one because of ignorance, one because of the jnana. The one who are in between, they have thousands of things to, identifications to renounce. The one who doesn't know, he doesn't know what to renounce. What do you mean by renounce? What to renounce? What to renounce? He doesn't understand there is a Sharira, there is a Mana, there is an Atma, there is a Paramatma, there is a Parabrahman, and there is a attraction, there is attachment. He doesn't understand, and he lives according to his Indriyas and Mana taking him towards that. It's called ignorance. He is not directing them. That means like an animal. Animal doesn't have, many of the animals direct, no doubt about it. But we call it as animal because we call it as comparative compared to the human mind and human intelligence. It's not that animal doesn't have intelligence. They have. Since they have lesser intelligence, we call animality. That's all. It's not that one is absolutely a fool. Just ask him to walk, he'll just walk. No animal will walk also. If the cow or any other animal walks, and if they find if there is a trench, it automatically turns. Doesn't they have do they not have intelligence? They have intelligence. They know that they will fall down there. So they have. But comparatively, it is less intensely, very, very less. I mean, when you calculate it. It's why we call them as animality. Because in animality, there are lots of ignorance, they are programmed. There is no additional, the faculty of intelligence doesn't function. Faculty of research doesn't go on there, you see, and many things doesn't go on. It keeps on as a rotation of the same thing happening. As I told you, from Apa to Bhumi, Bhumi to Apa to Bhumi, this keeps on going. That's all in them. But whereas for us, he says, Trayate. From where? From this evolution, from this circle. That is why we said Kala Chakra. I remember I have explained it in, which is that? Prashna Upanishad, if I remember correct. Prashna Upanishad, we have explained about the Kala Chakra and the spokes of the wheel and outer wheel, inner wheel and the axle and the pivotal point, how this is being distributed. This is exactly the same. How one identifies and becomes static. The one which moves keeps on moving. Outer circle keeps on moving. The pivotal point doesn't move. It's only to hold the movement. Everything moves on the pivot, but the pivot doesn't move. The whole wheel moves, keeps on rotating. This is how the identification of that. So for that, these are necessary. Why these explanations of Upanishads are meant for those brahmacharis who would like to renounce it knowingly. Renunciation takes place knowingly. If a man doesn't know what to renounce, somebody asks, renounce means what? To become sannyasi? We also might have asked when we were ignorant. What do you mean by renunciation? Tyaga. Leave the whole world, leave the house, leave the family, leave this, leave that, and go and sit in Himalayas and meditate. Is that called renunciation? That's not renunciation. We go to Himalayas because one understands about the renunciation. Renunciation has to come out of knowledge, jnanam. When the renunciation comes from the jnanam, then there is no sliding back takes place. Otherwise, one is forced or one is attracted, one is bribed to do renunciation. That what is bribing? Suppose a guru says, oh, if you renounce and if you do this, you will find the Parabrahman tomorrow morning. It's bribing, it's creating an attraction in the mind, creating a desire in the mind. So, the person's desire, the person's renunciation will be for the purpose of finding the Parabrahman, for the purpose of this. Jnanam is not that. Jnana, once you understand this, once you learn this, once you experience this, once you undergo this process of it, automatically you become that. It is not a process of trying to understand it and perceive it. There is no possession. In the other case, what happens? One wants to possess the Parabrahman. Many people say, I want to see the God. I want to experience the God. I want to experience that, this, etc., etc. If that I is there, the I is static, and you want to experience the higher force, you should understand that. The higher force cannot be experienced by the, so long there is an I. So long there is a lower frequency, the higher frequency cannot be experienced. It is not possible. So long there is an I cannot experience anything. That which is higher than the I. That which is consisting of I, that is possession of the I, only can be experienced by the I. The I has got only capacity to experience what the I means ego. The ego center only can be experienced by the I. Ego only can be experienced. That is why the human being, normally 99.99%, who understands the I, he experiences the ego only. Possession is ego, desire is ego. If I get it, I will be happy is ego. If I don't get it, I will be disappointed is ego. I am depressed is ego. I am angry is ego. I have got irsha, I have got jealousy is ego. I got hatred is ego. Everything is ego. Or I am happy is ego. I will become that is ego. I am a guru is an ego. I am a bhakt. I am a bhakt is an ego. I am a disciple is an ego. I am a God is an ego. I am a God is also ego. The one who becomes that, he doesn't have an explanation. Does your heart tell you that I am your heart? You may say that, oh, it's not thing which can speak. That's why it is not. Just telling an example. Do you experience how many times in a day, or how many times in your life do we remember that there is a heart in us? Unless there is a problem. Do we remember there is a heart? We never. Even when we speak of heart, we don't know we are thinking of heart. No. We don't feel that we have got a heart. No, it's not there. Because you have it. You don't have to say, I have got a heart. It's not necessary, because you know it. There's no possession necessary. You have got a hand, you know, you're not conscious that you've got a hand. With all these things, you are complete. All these things put together is you. Your hand, your eyes, your heart, your nose, your ears, your body, all the organs concerned, kidney, liver, all put together is called you. The I, what do you call it as? They are all separate. They are all different individuals. Many individuals put together is called you. How can you own that? How can you own that? They are all separate. Like Panchabhutas. Agni is different, Vayu is different, Jala is different, Prithvi is different. Put together in the Sharira. Then I call it as I. That I, we call it as one unit. Is it one unit? It is not one unit. They are all different. We cannot possess anything. That which we consider as possession, why we call it as I? Why we call it as I? Why we identify them as I? Because of my ahankara. Is that ahankara necessary? Yes, that ahankara is necessary to a certain extent. That is why the antakarana has been given to us. That ahankara is necessary. I cannot say, oh, my Agni, let it function like that. My Vayu, let it function like that. My Jala, let it function like that. No, it's not. I have put them together and created one shape and form of body. I can call it as I, so long I am executing my karmas. For the purpose of execution of my karmas, I call this unit as I. I call one machine or a car as a car only. What is a car? It is consisting of many parts. It has got an engine, it has got a wheel, it has got air, it has got a seat, it has got a steering, it has got this, it has carburetor, it has got so many things. And it runs with the fuel. So many things put together, we call it as a car, but we have to call it as a car. Only for the purpose of identifying them together in possession, we can call it as a car for the purpose of function. So we don't have to call it a unit of so many things every time, we don't have to say that. But same way, we don't have to say that, oh, I am the possession, I am the combination of heart, liver and kidney and this, we cannot say that. Put together we have to say I. So this aham is necessary, because this aham is the one which is consisting of the mind, ego and indriyas and the atma and the parts of the body, panchabhutas and panchapranas, panchakoshas put together. Put together is the I can call it as I, only for the purpose of execution of karmas. To execute a karma, we can call it as I, because they put together, they have to acquire certain experiences in order to come above the or come from the karma mukti towards the karma, from the karma. So in order to gain the karma mukti, we can call it as I. So that's why we call it as I. It is okay. There is nothing wrong in calling that I. But whenever I say I have to remember that this I is not out of the ego, that I am separate identity. I got an identity separate from everything else. Should not be there. This I can be used. This aham has been mentioned, or the mind and I has been created in us. This was come. Now, who created this? Nobody knows. From the inception of the human being that we say it is I, each individual says I. 1,000 years ago also, the 10,000 years ago also, a human being called himself as I. It will be there. Even after 10,000 years it will happen. Well, one can. Doesn't matter. As I told you, to identify a unit separately, the aham, I, has been called. But the person who says I has to understand that the I is pertaining to only that unit for execution of the karmas, but doesn't have its own any other possession as it is concerned. It cannot possess anything. It cannot possess anything. Here what happens in the unit, what happens when a possessiveness comes, there is an ego, this ego, that's why we call ego, we know ego as only as a separate entity, that where we identify the desires and the and wrong things, I mean, let's say negative. Ego is not that alone. Ego, we have to have an ego center. From the ego center only we have been awakened. That's what antakarana. From the ego center, we call it as an ego center. From the ego center only the information comes to us. The ego center is the one which is connected on one side to the atma, another side is to the mana, mind. So it is the one which is translating or transmitting the information from the atma, jnanam from the atma to the mind. That is necessary. But the mind is the one which is translating it. The mind is the one which is understanding it as different, because it has got a combination of jnanam from the atma as well as experience from the indriyas, and he has his own utility, which is known as the capacity of the mind is intelligence. So when he applies this intelligence, the meaning of the I becomes totally different. The meaning of I becomes the one who is analyzing it. That's the mind. So the mind becomes I is a problem. So long the antakarana, the ego center becomes I, there is no problem. When the mind becomes I, then all the problem comes. So generally what happens? The experiencer is the mind here. So the mind becomes the I. So the mind is the problem. That is why transcending of mind takes place. Transformation of the mind. We call it as what? What is transformation? What are we trying to do? Transformation of your mind. No. Bring transformation in you, we call it. Transformation in you means what? In your mind, that's all. Perception has to be changed, that's all. Nothing else has to be changed. And we are not capable of changing anything else. Can you change your body? By thinking? No. Cannot change. Panchabhutas cannot change. Can we think our mind? Can we think our Atma? Can we change our Atma? Can we change our Antakarana? We cannot change anything. Can you change your Indriyas? Cannot change. What can you change? Only thing that you can change is mind, mana. Only thing that you can change is only your thought. Because that you are created out of fiction. The perception. That's all. That is your misunderstanding. Perception is what? Nothing other than that what you have conceived. I saw a door, I thought it is a dog. I saw a rope, I thought it is a snake. In Upanishad explains about the rope and snake. In a lot of places, the snake and rope has been told. In the night when somebody looks on a fence, the rope hanging, and in the wind it is slightly moving, so one can always think that it is a snake. The rope and the snake. In the dark, it appears to be a snake. I perceive it as a snake. The whole night I am scared of that snake. It will come and bite me. When the daylight came, I looked at it. It is a rope. The daylight came when the sun was bright. When the daylight came, I looked out of the window. I saw it is a rope. That means in the light, I saw the truth that it is a rope. But when it is in ignorance, when the light was not there in me, in the ignorance, when I looked at it, it is a snake. The whole thing is a perception. That's all. Rope and the snake. This has to be understood. That is why Upanishad explains in detail about the method for the brahmacharis. This is meant for brahmacharis. Chhandogya Upanishad. That is why it started with Maharishi Vaishambhayana training Yajnavalkya and the others as brahmacharis for how to lead their life. There is happiness in renunciation. Why? Because the wrong perceptions of in renunciation, what happens? Ultimately, what is renunciation? Nothing other than one sentence. The total renunciation, what we call, is only one thing. What is that? The wrong perception of the universe by me. That has to be renounced. The wrong perception of this universe has to be renounced so that the right perception comes. So the total renunciation is complete. We talk about so many things about renouncing this, renouncing sharira, renouncing mind, but it is necessary. Why? Because for brahmacharis, it has to be started from there, because he has got a mind. His perception has been created by the mind. There is an established factor that has been created. There is a misunderstanding of the I there. Now to remove that at a stroke and throw it out of root, uproot them from the mind, it is very difficult. So gradually what happens? Instead of uprooting things from the mind, gradually the mind will be made understand that what it has perceived is totally wrong. So the mind itself will transcend and transform. When the mind itself transforms, the total perception of the mind also vanishes. They are all fiction only, because they are not temporary. They are those which are not truth. They are not which are permanent. They are all temporary. The mind can perceive things only temporarily. Mind cannot perceive anything permanent. Even our memories are temporary, is it not? We remember so many things, we don't remember so many things. That we remembered very important today becomes less important tomorrow, then much less important after 1 year. Yes. After 10 years you forget about it. Including the most important thing. The mother died, very important thing. One cried, beaten up, on 6 months, morning time. 1 year we have got morning period. Then did Shraddha for 10 years. Gradually only the date of Shraddha is marked in the calendar, so remembered. There is an alarm kept in the computer and the cell phone nowadays. Today is Shraddha. Who's Shraddha? Oh, mothers. It will come to that stage, you see. The one who was very important at one point of time, even the memories lose. What happened? Perception was wrong. They are all temporary. Mind and the capacity of the mind. The mind itself is wrong. Mind itself is temporary. So the thoughts that has come into that also are temporary. The emotions that has come into that also temporary. Attractions that has come through that is also temporary. The indriyas which have been fed informations to the mind, even though they are facts, but the analysis done by the mind is absolutely temporary. When that is temporary, that vanishes. That whichever is temporary, whichever is fictitious, whichever is illusion, whichever is a hallucination, they are all temporary, they are all changeable. Chara, achara, nityam, anityam. Upanishad, nityam and anityam. They are all anityam. They are not nityam. They are not stable, they are not permanent. What is permanent? The truth is permanent. That which is perceived should be perceived by the mind is why these explanations of Gayatri is necessary for people to understand it gradually. That is why from the Stulata to the Sukshmata and the Paramanu, one has to go where one identifies that I and my perception of me is totally wrong. That has to be renounced. Then only a brahmachari can become a Brahman. Brahmachari has to become the Brahman. So that is why these perceptions are created. That's why this detailing has been done. Once the detailing comes, the mind doesn't have an escape to go anywhere. Who understands all these things, what we are talking? These are all understood by the mind and the antakarana, ego center. Atma doesn't have to understand, please. They are all understood only by the mind only. Who transforms by listening this? Mind transforms. So the one who is needed to be transformed should listen. So the Shravana and the Manana we call it. See, Manana is a contemplation. That Manana has to be done in the Mana only. Why? Because the Mana has to change. So that is what we call it as I. So we call it as he has changed, I have changed, so and so has changed. As it, what changes has happened? Externally I don't find any change. No. Internally, in their Swabhava, there is a change. It's not in the Swabhava, even though the word Swabhava is used. In the Bhava, there is a change. In Swabhava, there cannot be a change. Swabhava, Swayam is the Bhava. That Bhava never changes. That is an ego center, in the ego center, which is the truth. So Swabhava of anything doesn't change. Swabhava of the Atma never changes. Swabhava of the Antakarana never changes. Swabhava of the Mana also doesn't change. What is the Swabhava of Mana? To change. Swabhava of the Mana is to change, all others not change. None of them in our Sharira except the mind. They are all the one which the whole creation of problems are all happens in the mind only. Sharira is misunderstood, mind is misunderstood, Indriyas are misunderstood. Every misunderstanding takes place only in the mind, is it not? Because understanding takes place in the mind, so misunderstanding also takes in the mind. The Atma doesn't have to understand, the Atma has to experience. It need not to understand. That's why the Jiva Atma is there. It has to experience. For experiencing, understanding is not necessary. Or for the mind, please, they are all connected with, don't quote these things anywhere and everywhere. I mean, for changing, for experiencing, understanding is not necessary, only pertaining to this particular incident. Otherwise, for experiencing, understanding is necessary. Somewhere else they will say, understanding is necessary, experiencing understanding is necessary. That is why many people misquote Upanishads and Vedas. There is a man who is in Islam. There is a man called Dr. Zakir Hussain. I quite often hear. He is a very interesting personality. Excellent personality. In the sense, the memory power is excellent. He can quote from Vedas, he can quote from Upanishads. Muslim, but he can quote. The Adhyaya such and such, 48 verse number such and such, it says such and such, Quran such and such. Everything he can quote and tell the meaning. Now what happens? Vedas and Upanishads are not exactly like Quran. Quran is nothing but the Karma Yoga. How to execute a Jiva is that Karma Yoga. So there is only one book. How many kritis are there with them? According to the documentation, there are only 12 Shastras, 12 books of Shastras. I mean, it's a bifurcation of Quran 1 and then others. Then he said, no, there are, how many books are there in Hinduism? Countless. Nobody can count how many Shastras are there. I mean, so many are there. So what happens is that he, now as I told you now, somewhere in the Upanishad, suppose it says that the understanding is not that for the experiencing, and somewhere else in the Upanishad says understanding is absolutely necessary for experiencing. It's all totally two different subjects depending upon two different circumstances. Now what he does is that he quotes one and says that look at that Grantha, it says understanding is not necessary for experiencing, which is proved to be wrong. Like that he discusses. So then he gives, but very impressive talker, because the mass neither knows Vedas nor knows Quran. Both are equally same. So this man takes the opportunity of that. So I was just thinking something yesterday I was here listening to. So he was talking about so many, I'm just out of context, now, not out of context exactly, the perception, mind perception and how it is interpreted and misinterpreted and things like that. Bahu Devatas and one Devata. Now, he always refers to that. Hindu has got so many gods. Praise to Shiva, praise to Krishna, praise to this, praise to that, praise to this. No limit and ultimate, nothing. But there is only one God. I was thinking that, he impresses that. So there is only one Shakti. Everybody knows also. Then why there is that he doesn't, he might be knowing probably, but he is not expressing it. Having learned so much, so he must have definitely learned it. But he is only supporting that where he wants to support. Others he doesn't. So Bahu Devata. Now, I always discussed about the Devatas here. Why we are praying to so many Devatas. Each and every human being has got different characteristics, different positions. Depending upon the positions, we request them. We approach them. A man who is in the office, he is a manager. So when you approaches him in the office, it is meant for only the work, the managers. He may be anybody. He may be anyone. Whatever we discuss, we will be talking to him as a manager, as a so-and-so. When he is in the house, he is so-and-so, father, mother, brother, sister, whatever it is. So we will be talking to that person. Same person, but we will not be talking about that office, we will be talking about this. Or even somebody comes to the house, they will not talk this, they will talk this. But the same person in a different place, they will talk something else. Same person is swimming, they will talk about swimming. Same person is hiking, they will talk about the hiking. They will talk walking, they will talk driving. In each position we talk different, but to the same person. Is what I have explained in detail. So it is the same person, we all know it is the same Shakti, but depending upon our convenience and our suitability, our mind's acceptance, because the mind is the one which is changeable, the mind is the one which is fictitious, mind has to be transformed. So anybody who is forcing, The forcing of the mind will not function. The mind has to understand. Here I am changing it, you see. The mind has to understand the Upanishad. Mind has to understand the Jnanam. Then it has to contemplate and transform. See, now there is a different context. It has to transform. Then only it can understand that manager and this man and that swimmer and that driver is the same. But I am approaching in a different manner for different purposes. Is how the gods have come also. There is nothing wrong. And then there is another way. So yesterday after listening that I got another opinion about it. You can also contemplate on things. You will get it also. I was just thinking because many people were having, how I got it was I saw that video, it was a video. I saw many people have got the what is that, drinking water bottles, mineral water bottles were there with everyone because in between they were drinking it. So I got an idea. I was just thinking about it. Now see, everyone has got water with them. He's talking about many devatas and one Shakti. Everybody has got water. Suppose I collect their water bottles from them, keep it on the table, and I tell them you take your water. So each one will come and I will say this is my water, this is my water, and this is my water. Is it not? Everyone will say that. Everyone will identify separate ones. Like this, they have separated. But is not the water same? Whether it is that water or this water, water is same. Then why do you identify as this is my water? Convenience, is not. That you are using it, you for convenience, for identification, you call it as that my water. There is nothing yours. It doesn't belong to you. You bought it and from the same shop the other man also bought it. And the content is, in all the bottles the content is water. And in all the bottles the water is the same. There is no change. But you called it as separate. Because this bottle is round, so this is mine. This bottle is square, this is mine. This bottle is brown, that is mine. This is a transparent one, that is mine. So we called it as different. It's not my water, my water, my water, my water. Water is all the same. But is there anything wrong that he says that it is my water? There's nothing wrong. Whether he says my water, our water or water, he is only taking water. How does it matter? Why do you want to understand it first? Not only that, in some of the explanations I have happened to read, and many of the, not only read, I discussed with individuals. I got experience. I talked to individuals. Let it be in Christianity, let it be in this one, you see. You see that they are forcing us to do certain things. Now what happens? Suppose I tell that somebody, you think only so and so is the God. Now our mind is revolutionary. Everyone wants to have a change. Why is telling me to think that only as God? Why not I think something else as God? Now this, many of them must be having it, but they don't speak it out. I have discussed with some of the people, they say that why there should be a force, that how do I think about the God? Anyway, the God you say Nirakara. Nirakara is God. You also say, no? In the mosque also say, this one also say, that one also say, everyone says Nirakara. If it is Nirakara, whichever Akara I think, how does it matter to you? Is it not? If it is Nirakara, fine, Nirakara. Too difficult, it is very difficult, to pray to Nirakaratam is very difficult for a normal person with the mind with lot of these emotions functioning. For them, Nirguna Upasana is very difficult. Saguna Upasana is possible. This is why the people have identified as Saguna Upasana with so many devatas and all that. Whichever water you take, it is water. Once you fill up in your bottle, you say this is my water. When we ourselves travel, where's your bottle of water? I got mine with my bag. What is the difference between that water and the other water? Both are same, is it not? But still we call it as mine. Is there anything wrong? Nothing wrong. But is it right? It is not right. But is there anything wrong? No, nothing wrong. This is the answer. These are the answers. This is how the devatas are also. This is what I got in idea yesterday when I saw the people drinking water from different bottles, and this man was talking about different devatas and one devata. Why to say that, then we have to say that all the water is from the ocean? Because everything is evaporated from the ocean, and the rain went to clouds, and the cloud rained and collected some. So I have to say it is all from the ocean. If one. So the oneness comes only, whether it is from the diversities or from the oneness, the mind has to understand why these are all required. Why these have come was it's a highly scientific process, so that the mind is not forced. In other case, what happens? The mind is forced that you have to believe Krishna is a God. Suppose somebody says, I don't feel like, I don't like it. I want to say something else is God for me. Is it not? That's why we have got different tastes and different gods, different this thing. It all depends upon that. The shape and form is only ideologies. Shape and form is only based on the principles of the God. It is not that there is a shape and form like that. They are derived out of the principles. So this is what happens. So many people, these are all ego, They would like to argue and establish one is right. That's why I am saying all these things is that everything is connected to this Upanishad again. The mind would like to perform a performance to establish his ego center. His ego is satisfied. Jnanam, expression of Jnanam is different. There has to be absolute humbleness in that jnana. When the jnanam increases, when he knows the body is not me, mind is not me, it is not the me what I am seeing. They are all absolutely, they are Panchabutas, this is this, this is this. So in a great Swami, in a great Tapasvi, that humbleness will be there. There won't be any ahankara in him. But this gentleman says, yesterday he was also telling one more thing, that people say Bharat Mata, and we always salute Bharat Mata ki Ji, and we pray to Mata, Mother. I'm just quoting him for discussion for your mind. You can also listen if you want. You can go to YouTube and find out this. Plenty of them you can have. Yesterday I happened to listen to that, that's why I'm telling you. He said, why they are telling, Indians are telling Bharat Mata. There is nothing called Mata. There is nothing. Why should one pray? We don't, because there was a discussion. This particular discussion was on terrorism and Muslims. So the people who were asking, journalists were questioning why it is like that. His answers are so, escaping, and there he got caught. So he was asking why all the terrorism is only Muslims. Some journalist, one girl journalist have told. He said, okay. He said, what is the biggest Muslim terrorist group? Which one is that? So somebody said it is Al Qaeda. Yes. Do you know, according to documents, Al Qaeda has done only 26 attacks, 26 terrorist attacks. Ulfa has done 275, he said. This is how he justifies. Ulfa, he says Ulfa, so I said Ulfa. Alpha has done that Assam, this one, no, that one. Alpha has done it seems documentally 275 or 375 terrorist activities have been done. So that is the answer. That means they can do it. You see that? He is asking a question why these people are doing. So this is how it is told. And then Bharat Mata, then he said that he is telling that we don't bow to anyone except the Allah, except the God, one. We bow only there. But all the Indians and others. Somebody asked about the patriotism. The Muslims in India doesn't have patriotism or something like that. Some question, I don't remember the question, but connected with patriotism. There is, people are fools, they are doing, praying to the mud, praying to the earth, praying to the mud, that's all. There is nothing called Mata. Why we call it as Mata, and what is the necessity of it? And he says that, look, as far as we are concerned, we means he is calling about Islam. Concerned, we do not, I am not discussing religion, I am just discussing the points according to one individual, that's all. So he says that, look, it is absolutely foolish. We don't bow down to anyone except one, that's all. We don't, he also qualifies it. We don't even bow down to our mother, who has given birth to us, who has carried in the womb for 9 months and given birth to us. Forget about others. No, we don't bow down to anyone. We bow down to only that. Absolutely. Whereas in Jnanam and Upanishad says that the more, why I am saying all these things is that how the mind perceives ego. These are all egos. If there is no ego in us, that I and Aham, if the mind doesn't think that I am the Sharira, I am the mind, he talks about bowing down. So I was contemplating on this quite long. Yesterday, today I was contemplating. What he means by bowing down as far as he is concerned is that physically bowing down. Is it not? Physically bowing down is not what he is talking about. We don't bow down to anyone, is what he said. So I was contemplating, doesn't he bow down? What is called bowing down? So I understood that this man is only, and the crowd, they don't understand many things. So bowing down means immediately everyone thinks bowing down like this, that's all. And we pray to Bharat Mata, we pray to our country, we salute our country, we praise our country, we have songs, patriotic songs about the country. But he says everything is absolutely foolish, you have to only bow down to that. His bowing down here means that he physically bowing down, that's all. Why? How, you may ask me how I concluded that it is physical bowing down he is talking about, because you have to, that also you should think from his side. He may say that I am not talking about physical bowing down, mental bowing down. I am bowing down to God, that's all. That he can say. Absolutely right. If he says that, it is absolutely right. I do agree with that. If that is the case, if mental bowing down is concerned, according to Shastras and Upanishad, we down, according to the knowledge, the more the knowledge increases, we bow down to everybody, we said in our Upanishad. The more we have knowledge, more we bow down to others. That means you become simple. You become humble. How do you become humble? What is called bowing down is that once you identify the ahankara is no more there. The bowing down means what? When the ahankara is no more there, accepting the truth in you is called bowing down actually. When I am listening to you, now I am coming from the Brahman to one individual, bowing down. He says no, he doesn't bow down. When you are talking and I am listening and I am accepting what you are saying, he is bowing down according to me. Simple as that. Yes. If a child, I was just thinking another action of a human being. In order to pick up a child to love, I have to bow down to the child if you are called a physical bowing down. I have got all classifications. If it is physical bowing down, you have to physically bow down to a child in order to pick up and love him. He has not asked, you want to love. So since you want to love, you have to bow down. When we want to accept, we have to bow down. When our knowledge increases, we bow down. We listen to Shastras and Vedas and we understand that I am not that. Aham Brahmasmi. He is bowing down to the Lord only. Bowing down to Lord means bowing down to every Jivatma, because everything is a part of that Parabrahman only. So when once I accept that Jivatma is me and I am bowing down to that Jivatma, I am bowing down to the whole universe. It's not bowing down. Where we have a substratum, we have to respect. We have a substratum, we have to bow down. We have a mother, he says that even to our mother, we don't bow down. He thought it is great. Absolute foolishness. to a mother who has done a lot of sacrifices to bring you up at least up to a certain age, don't you think that you have to bow down? Is it human? Otherwise, let it be anyone. You have to bow down in the sense you have to accept it. Bowing down is not an action which is done like Japanese did or somebody else. Bowing down is a mental status, acceptance, giving a respect. Giving respect, that means he doesn't respect anyone. So unfortunately I could not reply to him, but people were listening and clapping, many of them. So bowing down comes that. What is that? Why I told all this, that everything connected to this heart. Where once it comes to the heart, he says here, Hridayam asmin hiye pranaha. When the heart is containing the prana, the heart doesn't have any intentions, any desires. Inside the heart, there is no intention, there is no desire, there is no ego, there is no function. It just functions, that's all. It just functions, that's Hridayam. Just functions. So the prana's movement is because of the Hridaya. That's why pranayama. The pranayama, prana even though is there, the pranayama is done by the Hridaya. Why? Because it in the Sukshmata of the Ahankara, the Sukshmata of the Panchabhutas, when it comes to the Hridaya, where there are no desires, where there is no attachment, where there is no attraction, where there are no emotions expressed, where it only functions, just functions, that is called the Hridayam Prana Pratishtita Etadeva. That means ultimately in the Sukshmata, it comes to that. When it comes to that, where the understanding, there only, as I told you, in order to experience, in this case what happens? In order to experience there, the understanding is not necessary, yes. Whereas in the transformation of the mind, in order to transcend, the understanding is required. You see? One can say, is it contradictory? It is not contradictory. It is complementary to each other. Here, because it has got a function and it functions without an ego, it doesn't require to understand. When something has to function with an ego, it has to understand. One with an ego has to understand, one without an ego doesn't have to understand. Is why at Jnani, I said, he said, what to renounce? Because it functions. He doesn't have to understand it. He is beyond the status of understanding. An ignorant one, he says, what to renounce? Because he doesn't understand it. He need not to understand it. He doesn't understand it. So he cannot renounce. The one who is a Maharishi, he need not to renounce. But the ignorant, he cannot renounce. This is the difference. But you see, there are two different positions. It's not contradictory. What I am trying to tell you, in Vedas, Upanishad, the repetitions are there. There are a lot of repetitions. These repetitions are different in different situations and circumstances, has to be understood. In that context, it has to be identified and has to be understood. I am just teaching you so that you will understand it, so that you should know that perfectly well. Somebody might talk to you, so you should understand this. In that context, it has to be understood in that sense. They are not contradictory. Vedas says only one. It is not contradictory, but it is complementary. Yes, that's all. My hand is paining. Doesn't mean the whole hand is paining. Suppose I got a pain here. What do you say? My hand is paining. My hand is aching. Now, is your whole hand is aching? See how it is. It is put for the expression, for the purpose of understanding. It has to be there. This is how it is to be done. So, from the Sukshmata, from the Stulata to Sukshmata, when you are writing, this is meant only for the Brahma, as I told you, Brahmacharis, because Brahmacharis, in order to identify the Brahman, Brahmacharis means everyone is a Brahmachari. The one who is trying to identify a Brahman is a Brahmachari. So a Brahmachari should not have a conflict in his mind, a confusion is in his mind, or should not have a question in his mind about the identity and identification of the Parabrahman, identity of the self, realization of the self, overcoming the egos from the ego center. The ego center, from the ego center he has to rise above that. Then only a brahmachari can become a Brahma Sakshatkari. A brahmachari can become a Brahma Sakshatkari. When a brahmachari, acharyam of the Brahman, that means in the process of execution of the studies of the Brahma Tattvam, Brahmajnanam, he is a Brahmajnani. Once he is identified the Brahma Tattvam, Brahmajnanam, he has become a Brahma Sakshatkari. No more studies are required. Till the time he is becoming a Brahma Sakshatkari, he has to understand and transform. That's why Brahmachari. He is walking in the path of the Brahman. That's called Brahma Achari. He is walking the road towards the Brahman. So he is a Brahmachari. So for a Brahmachari, he has to understand and identify firmly with a conviction and has to really contemplate and analyze. Is the method of the Upanishads and Vedas to make us understand. There is no caste, creed, religion, nothing is mentioned in our Vedas and Upanishads. We don't have any religion. The human Jivatma, we never said anything else. Brahman, Atma, Jivatma, Mana, Indriyas, Sharira. Where is it? This is what has to be understood properly. Where there is no classification made. If somebody is making things out of control, that is a different thing. This is what Brahman says. This is what Brahmachari says. So a Brahmachari is the one who has to identify. Once he identifies that, the Brahma Sakshatkara, the method of Brahma Sakshatkara, in him, there is no ego. When there is no ego, what do you mean by ego? Where the ego center functions as saying, the mind is me, the Indriyas are me, the Sharira is me, is that ego what I am talking about. When that comes, when I have got a mind functioning in me, and the mind functioning in the sense, the functioning mind tells me that I am the mind, you are the mind. If my Indriya says that you are the mind, you are the me, you are the I, and the mind says you are the I. So long that comes, what happens? I have lot of emotions functioning, lot of desires, lot of attractions, lot of attachments. So I have to possess all this, I have to qualify for all this. Then only I call a lot together, together this lot as I. Then I have got the ahankara of I, and I will not be in a position to identify anything, because I have already misunderstood. So I have no scope to understand that I is this, I is that, I are this. This is what I differentiate. Whereas a brahmachari, he identifies none of them, neti, naiti. None of them are me. I am the Parabrahman. The moment he identifies, he becomes, from the brahmachari, he becomes the Brahma Sakshatkari. All his ego of the I, misunderstood I as Sharira, Mana and emotions have lost. So any individual, any dog, any animal, any plant, anything goes in front of him, for him, there are no attractions, there is no attachment, there is a power of discrimination functioning in him, and he identifies that unit as that particular unit with that Jivatma. That's all. That is why there is no difference. Yes. You might have heard that Sai Baba, that Shirdi Baba serial used to be there, so we used to listen to that. For him, when he is sitting and eating, the dog also will sit and eat with him. People say that, why, how can it be unhygienic? And there are a lot of things. As far as he is concerned, for him, he doesn't see him as the dog. Because he doesn't have the mind and indriyas, which is projecting the shape and form of the other unit as that. His indriyas, his mana, his antaratma, his antakarana is projecting that as the jivatma. I and you see it as a dog, he sees it as a Jivatma. And in that Jivatma and in his own Jivatma, he finds there is no difference. How can he differentiate it? Is how this principle of he feeding the dog and he feeding the cows and then things like that have come. Actually, it may not be physically done. Principally, that it doesn't have a difference. This is what is called the jnanam, identification. When he identifies himself as separate, then only he will identify. He himself identifies himself as separate, then he is separate. When he identifies himself as one with the Parabrahman, he is Parabrahman. So Brahma Sakshatkar. I always told the story of Adi Shankaracharya in Kashi. When he went during his travel, he stayed in Kashi for quite some time. I told this 100 times, I think I went out told this story. He bathed in Ganges and was coming through those narrow lanes. In Kashi there are lots of narrow lanes, no? Through the narrow lanes. So in front of him there was a Chandala standing there, huge form, dirty, things like that. So the Ashritas, the disciples of Adi Shankaracharya said, look, there is a Chandala, we must ask him to move, otherwise how will you go? You are just bathed and come, you are going to do the puja. When he thought so, he had his Ashritas, when he had Adi Shankaracharya himself, when he identified himself as Adi Shankara, those days it was not Adi Shankara, Shankara. It was Adi Shankara, we have named him after that. Shankara thought, no, I am Shankara. The moment when he thought I am Shankara, he looked at him so he could see the Chandala. So he said, hey Chandala, move the way, let me pass. So the Chandala asked, who should move? Should I move? Or should my Atma move from me? The moment he asked this question, immediately the consciousness, because his ego, immediately the understanding has come. The mind understood and mind transformed. The ego center has classified it, immediately connected with the Atma and told Shankara, you are not that individual. You see, you are the Atma. When he identified himself as Atma by listening this Shravanam of the Jnanam. That's why Shravanam of the Jnanam is necessary. When the Shravanam of the Jnanam has come into his mind, because one word, should I move or the one who is inside me should move? Which one you want me to move? My Sharira. That's exactly what he said there. Should I move my Sharira or should I move myself? This is how he asked, because it's confusing, no? He did not say Atma. Should I move my Sharira or should I move myself? Then, the moment he has asked, Chandala cannot ask this question, because he is a jnani. For a moment he got attracted with his own Sharira and Mana. So, he identified him as Chandala. The moment this question came, the jnanam came, the mind immediately transformed, himself telling him that you are not this Shankara what you are talking, you are that Jivatma, you are Atma, you are the Brahmachari, you are Brahma Sakshatkari. The moment that consciousness has come in him that he is a Brahma Sakshatkari, when looked at him, he could find Bhagavan Shiva standing there. Lord Shiva standing there. Earlier, the same Shankara saw a Chandala. The same Shankara, after receiving Jnanam, please understand this carefully. After receiving the Jnanam in the same situation, within a fraction of a second, he saw Bhagavan Shiva standing there. That is how he said, should I move my Sharira or should I move myself? Which one do you want me to move? Then he immediately prostrated in front of him, said, hey Bhagavan, Shama, Shama, Shama. This is what happens. What is that? Transformation. You understood what I am doing? Within a fraction of a second, this transformation can happen in a fraction of a second when Jnanam comes in. This is why Jnanam, listening, Shravanam is necessary. That is why all these things are being told to a Brahmachari. Look how you can transform. What is called this Panchabhutas? What is called your prana? What is this? What is this? Once this comes, what happens? The confusion and question will not be there. When the mind is always fictitious to try to find out escapes from that. So we'll ask so many questions. So to avoid all that reasons and questions from the mind, so much of explanation is necessary so that there will be no escaping door for the mind to escape from the reality and take you to the illusion and hallucination. Is the reason why these explanations are absolutely necessary and reason. Otherwise, with one sentence, this can be finished. That's why this explanation comes. Okay, Om Shanti. We'll take the next shloka. Next class. Maybe the rest of the 3, 12, 4. Shambho.